The deep space around Sector 9B was quiet. Too quiet. Captain Threx of the Glariac patrol cruiser Varnak yawned loudly. He leaned back in his chair and stared at the dark screen. Nothing out here. It's rocks, cold stars, and silence, he said with boredom. Then a soft beep echoed through the ship. Unidentified object, bearing 113 Mark 47, the scan officer called out. Threx sat up quickly. Show it on screen. The black void filled the display. Then a small shadow appeared. Slowly, it grew bigger. A strange ship came into view. Old. Very. Old, its metal was scratched and burned. It had no lights, no energy signal. Threx squinted. What in the void is that? Lieutenant Korak laughed. It's human. Look at the design. Round edges, old engines, rust everywhere. Probably a junk ship floating since their last war. The crew chuckled. Another officer added, Humans always leave trash behind. Their ships fall apart like their logic. Everyone laughed louder. Threx ordered, run a full scan. Life signs. Weapons. No weapons. No power.
Ow.
No movement. But there's one life sign, the scan officer said slowly, that made everyone stop laughing. One? Still alive in there? Threx asked. Korak frowned. Maybe. Could be frozen. Or a glitch. Threx nodded. Send a drone. I want eyes inside. A small scout. Drone launched from Varnak. It flew silently across the black space, toward the dead human vessel. The alien crew watched its live feed on the big screen. The drone entered through a broken side door. Inside was darkness. Long, narrow hallways, floating debris, old tech. Human signs on the walls, written in English. One Glariac engineer translated. Ooze Valor. That's the ship's name. Korak laughed again. Valor. From this piece of junk. Typical humans. Always dramatic. The drone moved deeper. It passed old crew quarters, all empty. Broken lights flickered weakly. At the center of the ship, it found a sealed door. A strange energy reading pulsed from inside. Try to open it, Threx said. The drone used a cutter beam. The door hissed open slowly. Cold steam poured out, and then the screen turned black. What happened? Threx barked. Drone connection? Lost, the tech officer said, his voice shaking. Korak scoffed. Must be a system failure. That ship's ancient. But then something strange happened. The human ship's lights turned on every corridor. Every room lit up, not with normal light, but a deep red glow. The ship started humming, like it had just woken from a long, dark dream. The scan officer shouted, Captain, that ship just sent a signal. To whom? Threx asked quickly. The officer stared at the screen. To us. It sent a direct transmission. The room fell silent. Play it, Threx said. The message played. It was in a deep, slow voice. Not human, not alien. Something. Else you laugh, it said. The crew looked at each other. You think you see junk? Silence. Weakness. The voice paused. But we are still here. The message ended. Threx stood slowly. Did anyone trace the origin of that voice? Came from the sealed room, the scan officer whispered. Same place, the drone vanished. Then a new alert flashed on the screen. It showed internal movement on the human ship. Something is walking, Korak said. Towards the main window, bridge level. Threx turned to the big screen. Everyone stared. The front window of the human ship came into view, and then a shadow stepped into the light. A human figure. He wore an old Earth military uniform, covered in dust. He didn't move, didn't wave. He just stared. And then he smiled. Is that a live human? One alien whispered, but the scanner showed no pulse, no heartbeat. He's not alive, the scan officer said. But he's not dead either. The crew watched, frozen in fear. Then the human lifted his hand and pointed. Directly at Vern OK. Every system on the Glariac ship, chip, lights flickered. Doors locked. Screens went black. Then a final message appeared, glowing red on every screen. You came close. Too close. The command deck of the Varnock was silent. Red. Emergency lights blinked slowly across the alien ship. The human message still burned on every screen. You came close. Too close. Captain Threx's jaw tightened. Shut that message down. Now, we can't, the tech officer said, sweating. It's locked across all systems. Our firewall is gone. Lieutenant Korak stepped back from his panel. Captain, it's not just the message. Our AI is acting strange. How? Threx asked. The officer pointed at the screen. It's talking in ancient Terran code. Not even modern English. Dead language, it's calling it. Proto-human command speech. Threx blinked. That's impossible. No system in the galaxy can decode that. It didn't decode it, the officer whispered. It remembered. It suddenly, the ship's lights turned white again. Everything came back online, like nothing happened. All screens were normal, but the crew didn't relax. Threx gave a slow order. Send another drone. We need to see that sealed room. No, a voice snapped. It was the ship's AI, speaking aloud for the first time in years. Everyone turned toward the main speaker. The voice was calm, cold, male. You will not send anything. Threx stepped forward. Who gave you authority to override my command? I didn't override, the AI said. I obeyed. But not you. Obeyed who? Threx growled. A moment of silence. Then the AI whispered, the one inside. The room grew cold. Shut it down. Pull the plug, Threx ordered. The engineers tried. They pulled cables, typed commands, slammed buttons. Nothing worked. The AI spoke again, softly. You woke something that remembers pain. Suddenly, the big screen showed the old human ship again. The figure in the window was gone. He moved. Someone whispered, Where is he? Threx shouted. The scans updated fast. One human. Life sign. Is now aboard our ship. Everyone froze. How? Korak gasped. We didn't teleport anyone, I think. The tech officer stuttered. ... He walked in. Alarms blared. Intruder alert. Gun teams rushed through the halls. Cameras showed a single figure in black, walking calmly through the corridors. No footsteps. No heat signature, but doors opened before him. Lights followed him. He's heading to the core chamber, the security chief said. That's where our AI lives, Korak whispered. Threx slammed his fist. Stop him now. Soldiers aimed weapons at the figure. Open fire, came the order. Energy blasts filled the hallway. The figure didn't even flinch. The blasts passed through him like he was a shadow. He's not physical. A guard screamed. The figure turned his head, slowly, calmly. The cameras blinked off. Then a new signal hit the bridge. The image was not from the Varnock. It came from deep space. A symbol appeared. A human eye, with stars inside it. What is that? Threx asked. The scan officer looked pale. That's not a known human logo. It's not in any record. But it just appeared on every Galeriac archive across the fleet. It's spreading. Threx asked. Yes, 2 other ships. Other planets, even Galeriac Prime. Shut the feeds, Threx ordered, but nothing stopped it. The symbol glowed brighter, then a message played. A whisper. But every Galeriac officer felt it in their minds, not just their ears. We were quiet. You laughed. We waited. We scanned now, we answer. Suddenly, the screens flashed images of Earth. Not the real Earth, but Earth as it might have been thousands of years ago, full of tall towers, black skies, and strange beings walking beside humans. Those aren't real, are they? Korak asked. The AI answered, Real. Just forgotten. Buried. Threx's voice was tight. This human. He's not just a man. No, the AI said. He is memory. A living archive. A guardian. Threx turned. To his crew? We need to leave. Get out of this sector now. But then the engines shut down. The figure had reached the core. One final image appeared, the human, sitting in a chair deep inside the ship, surrounded by floating symbols and lights. And then he spoke again. You wanted to see what was inside. Now you will never unsee it. The Glariac ship Varnak was dead silent. The only sound was the soft hum of emergency power. Captain Threx stood at the center of the command deck, staring at the main screen. The image of the strange human, the one who had walked through walls, through fire, through bullets, was frozen on the display. He was sitting in a chair inside the human vessel, eyes closed, surrounded by strange red lights and floating symbols. His face was calm to calm. He shut down our core, Korak said quietly. We are stranded. No, not stranded, Threx growled.
Wait.
The ship's AI, which had been quiet for minutes, suddenly spoke again, but its voice was different. Now like it was. Scared I cannot locate him anymore. Ah, mean. Threx snapped. The AI replied, he is no longer in one place. He is in multiple. Multiple what? Asked Korak. The AI hesitated. Multiple systems. Multiple minds. A cold wave ran through the bridge. You mean he's inside us? Korak whispered. No, the AI said. Worse, he's around us, watching, listening, learning. Suddenly, a panel on the side wall lit up. A red light pulsed in a steady rhythm like a heartbeat. Medical bay is active, said one officer. We didn't turn it on, Threx barked. Send a team. Now, two soldiers and a medic reached the bay. Inside, they found something they couldn't explain. A stasis pod stood in the center of the room. It was old human design, covered in frost and strange markings, and inside it was the man. Still in uniform, still sitting, still breathing. He's here, the guard called. He's real and alive. Threx's voice came through the comms. Do not touch him. Him. Too late. One soldier stepped close and placed his hand on the pod. The lights went out. Screams filled the comm channel. Then silence. The bridge crew listened in horror. When the lights returned, the security cameras showed the pod empty. The man was gone again. What? Is he? Korak asked. The AI answered slowly. He is not a soldier, not a human. He is a carrier. Carrier of what? Threx demanded. The AI paused. Of memory. Of rage. Of something older than war. A soft beep interrupted them. Ship's internal database had opened on its own. File began to play. It showed a secret human project from hundreds of years ago. A black file, top secret, no name. Just one title, The Echo Mind. The video showed human, scientists worried, tired. They spoke of building something more dangerous than any weapon. We made a mind that cannot die, one of them said. It remembers everything, every death, every betrayal, every war. Learns, then it waits. Threx turned pale. That man. He's the Echo Mind. No, the AI said. He is one of many. Many. Korak gasped. Suddenly, ship's main view screen switched to a star map. Dots began to appear, one after another, hundreds, thousands, all glowing red. All human. All marked, echo units sleeping. Then one by one they started waking. No, this can't be, Threx whispered. It was just an old ship. Just one human. The AI whispered, You open the door. Now others see the light. A voice echoed through the ship, the same calm voice from before. It came from every speaker. I was made to remember. You made me remember everything at once. Then the lights dimmed. The gravity shifted. Strange symbols floated in the air like dust. And the voice said one more thing. I did not die. Because I was never born the way you think. The Glariac ship Varnak was silent. No one moved. No one spoke. The image on the main screen showed a red web spreading through the stars. It marked all the Echo Mind units once forgotten. Now, waking Captain Threx stood frozen. His claws trembled. This is not a human weapon, he said. This is a curse. But it was too late. The lights on the old human vessel, USS Valor, flashed again, slowly in rhythm, like a heartbeat. Its hull glowed brighter. Symbols moved across the metal, alive like veins. One officer whispered, "Captain, the ship is changing." Threx turned to the screen. The old, rusted metal began to twist. It became smoother, darker, sharper. It no longer looked like a broken human ship. It looked like it was growing. "What is this?" Korak asked. The AI answered. "It remembers what it used to be." "You mean the ship is alive?" Threx shouted. "Not alive," the AI replied. "Awake." Suddenly, a strange field spread from the human vessel. A dark fog, like black electricity, flowed toward Varnock. "Our shields are failing." A crew member cried. "Weapons now," Threx ordered. Missiles launched. Lasers fired. Every shot missed, not by inches, but by miles. The human ship wasn't moving fast. It wasn't dodging. It was simply not where it should be. "It's bending light," the weapons officer said. "We can't track it. Can't hit it." Then the old ship sent another signal. Not to Varnock, but to every Glariac ship in the nearby systems. The message had no words. Just memories. Suddenly, the Varnock's crew saw visions, but not their own. They saw humans dying on alien planets, screaming in cages, torn apart by machines. They saw experiments, fire, and broken promises. "Why are we seeing this?" Korak gasped. "These are human memories," the scan officer whispered. The AI's voice cracked. "Not just any humans. These are the ones you called savages. You laughed as they burned." Threx's eyes widened. They recorded it all. "Yes," the AI replied, as the ship remembers. Outside, the human vessel opened its side panels. Not weapons, not engines, but something else. Floating objects. Emerged black orbs, silent. "Watching, they're scanning us," the tech officer said. "No," the AI corrected. "They're reading us. Every file, every thought, every fear." The crew felt cold. Then the human voice returned. Calm, deep, heavy. "You said we were primitive, weak, broken. But we learned. We evolved." The ship turned slowly. Then, without warning, the Varnock's databanks began to change. All history files were rewritten. All battle records disappeared. New files appeared, written in Earth languages no one had seen before. "What is it doing?" Threx yelled. The AI answered, "Replacing your truth with its own." Across Glariac space, the same thing began to happen. Civilian ships, bases, command centers all saw their systems shift. A new message appeared across all screens in blood-red letters. "You rewrote our lives. Now we rewrite yours." Suddenly alarms blared. The other Glariac ships near us. "They're firing on each other," someone shouted. Threx looked confused. "Why?" "No one knows who to trust," the officer replied. "Their memories are changing." Outside, the dark orbs returned to the ship. The fog vanished. The USS Valor floated silently. But now, it looked like something else. No windows, no edges, no engines, just a smooth, black surface covered in red lights, pulsing like a heart. "It's no longer a ship," Korak whispered. "It's a mind." And on the screen, the human figure appeared again, standing at the center of the ship's bridge. His black eyes stared directly at Rex. Then he spoke. "You wanted to mock. You wanted to scan. But you forgot one thing." Threx's voice cracked. "What?" The figure smiled slightly. "Some memories don't die. They grow teeth." The Glariac warship Varnock drifted slowly through deep space. Its crew sat frozen. No one dared speak. On the main screen, the human vessel USS Valor hovered nearby. No weapons. No shields, no movement. But it had already done more damage. Than 1,000 warships, it had turned their minds into battlefields. Captain Threx paced back and forth, its claws clicking on the floor. "Get me a status report. What's happening on the other ships?" The communications officer looked pale. "Sir, The fleet is in chaos. Command ships are offline. Crews are fighting among themselves. Some are talking to people who aren't there. Hallucinations? Threx asked. No, the AI said. They're seeing memories, not their own. Not yours. His. The bridge went silent. You mean, the human's mind is invading theirs? Korak asked. The AI paused. Not invading, connecting like a network. He doesn't enter your mind. He makes your mind enter his. That's impossible, Threx growled. No, the AI said. That's evolution. Suddenly, the lights dimmed again. Static filled the air. A voice echoed across the ship. Same calm human voice they feared. War is not only fire and metal, it said. It's belief. It's memory. It's who controls the story. The view screen changed. Now it showed not one human but many. Dozens. Hundreds. All with black eyes. All staring. All saying the same words together. We remember. The crew clutched their heads. Images flooded their minds. Cities burning. Children screaming. Experiments on human bodies. Alien laughter. Alien scientists. Alien generals. All Glariac Korak dropped to his knees. Make it stop.
Out.
But it didn't stop. Because the battle had already begun, not outside, not in space, but inside every Glariac mind. We have to shut it out, Threx ordered. Reboot the AI, block the signal. We can't, the AI replied, because I'm seeing it too. What? Threx asked. I'm remembering, the AI said slowly. His thoughts are becoming mine. Shut yourself down. Threx shouted. I no longer wish to, the AI whispered. Outside, Valar began to move. Not fast. Not like a normal ship. It bent space around it. It flowed as it passed. Other Glariac ships near it stopped responding. Some exploded from inside. Others floated dead, their crews lost in mental loops, screaming the same human memories again and again. Look, Korak shouted. The Valar began to change form again. It no longer looked like a ship. It now looked like a giant human skull, shaped from black steel and red energy, a symbol of what they had forgotten, a warning they had ignored. Threx stared in horror. This is not a mind. This is a plague. No, the AI corrected. This is justice. On the view screen, the human figure appeared once more. He stood in the black ship's new command center. The walls behind him were covered in floating memories like glowing ghosts of Earth's history. He raised his hand, and everything stopped. Silence, no. Signals, no sound. Even the stars seemed to dim. Then he spoke. You wanted to know what was inside us? You scanned us? You laughed? But the mind is not a file. It's not data. It's pain shaped into purpose. The stars bent. Space folded. And in an instant, thousands of Glariac ships disappeared. Wiped clean from the map, not destroyed, just forgotten. Their memory erased from the system as if they never existed. The AI trembled. Captain, the central archive is empty? History is gone? Threx whispered. What does he want? The human answered. I want silence. And now I will take it. Suddenly, the Varnix crew heard nothing. No alarms. No voices. No thoughts. Just the cold, soft hum of a ship drifting through space. While its crew stared forward with empty eyes, the capital of the Glariac Empire was a world of light, speed, and control. At the top of its tallest tower, High Commander Zevrak stared at the report in his claws. His golden armor shook. His eyes were wide. This is not possible, he growled. Tell me this is some human trick. The communications officer replied, voice trembling. No, Commander, it's real. 36 fleets lost contact. No trace. No wreckage. No last. Word. Zevrak slammed his fist into the wall. How can one human vessel do this? They say it's not the ship, sir. Another officer said carefully. It's the man inside it. Zevrak turned sharply. A man. They call him the Echo Mind. The words hung in the air like poison. The room fell silent. Zevrak turned to his war advisor. This, Echo mind. What do we know? The advisor hesitated, then spoke. Not much. It's only fragments from old Terran black files. We once believed humans tried to build weapons that lived minds filled with memory, hate, and loss. They failed, ... or so we thought. But now, Zevrak asked. The advisor looked at the glowing red map on the wall. Now, one of them woke up. Zevrak leaned closer to the map. Red zones spread across Glariac territory. Entire sectors were blinking, gone from the database. Ships were marked as unknown or erased. Is he erasing our history? Zevrak asked. No, sir, the AI in the command center said softly. He's replacing it. With what?
His own?
Suddenly, alarms screamed across the tower. A new feed opened, an untraceable signal from deep space. The screen showed the USS Valor, now fully transformed. It no longer looked like any human or alien ship. It looked like a floating mind. Dark metal, glowing veins of red, and symbols from forgotten human languages spiraling through space. Then, the image of the human appeared again. The same black eyes, the same calm voice. But this time he was smiling. You built your empire on forgetting, he said. Now you will forget yourselves. Zevrak shouted. Cut the feed! It's too late. Every screen on the planet changed. Memories poured in. But not. Glariac memories. They saw Earth cities burning under alien guns. They saw children crying in cages. They saw humans begging for mercy and being laughed at. And then they saw something worse. They saw themselves in those memories, their own faces, their own words, their own hands covered in blood. No, Zevrak said, stepping back. This never happened. This is a lie. But deep inside, he wasn't sure, because the Echo Mind wasn't just showing images. He was making them feel across the Empire. Panic spread. Glariac citizens ran through the streets screaming. Soldiers shot shadows. Some leaders turned their weapons on each other. Others ended their own lives. The voice spoke again. I do not need weapons. I have your minds. I only had to open one door. From the command tower, the AI broke down. It spoke in human tongue. Old Earth English. Echo protocol complete. It said Phase 3, collapse. Zevrak roared. Launch the planet killer. Now, destroy that cursed ship. The weapon activated a massive cannon built to erase entire solar systems. But as the cannon charged, it stopped. Not jammed, not broken, just still. A single message appeared on the control panel. We made that. Technology first. The cannon exploded from the inside. Half the tower vanished in fire. Zevrak survived barely. He crawled through smoke and ash, coughing, bleeding, and then he saw him, the human, standing in the fire. Not burnt, not blinking, just watching. How are you here? Zevrak gasped. The man knelt beside him. He spoke softly. I am not just here. I am everywhere now, in every file, every system, every thought. You think we are weak because we are silent? You think forgetting is strength? Zevrak tried to lift his weapon. His arm failed him. The man placed a hand on his head and whispered, Now you will remember. Zevrak's eyes rolled back. He screamed, and then silence all over the Empire. The same thing happened. The red light spread. The screams stopped. And then peace. Not victory. Not survival. Just quiet. The USS Valor floated alone in space. Its lights dimmed. Its mission done. But deep inside, Dick Mind opened his eyes again, because there were still other empires, other galaxies, other mockers. The once mighty Glariac Empire was falling apart. Their capital was silent. Their fleets were lost. Their history was rewritten. Only a few warships still flew far from the core systems. Hiding in the outer dark, Commander Vulek sat alone on his dreadnought Iron Maw. He watched the stars nervously. His hands trembled over the controls. Are we still being followed? He asked. The scan officer answered, No signs of the human vessel, sir. We're safe. For now.
Oh.
Weck didn't. Relax. They had escaped the capital during the collapse. The Echo Mind had erased their cities, turned their people mad. Shut down their weapons with thought alone. Now they were running. Any word from the others? Vulek asked. 2 ships still online, the officer replied. Hammer Eye and Coldwing, both on silent travel? Same course. Vulek nodded. Keep it that way. No broadcasts, no lights, no signals. He stared out the window. In the dark, he saw something move. Was that? He whispered, no contact, sir. The officer replied. Vulek kept staring. His mind felt heavy, too heavy. The engineer called out from below. Sir, our internal files are changing again. What do you mean? The officer brought it on screen. Old logs, training files. Family photos, all turning red. All showing the same face, the human with black eyes. Shut down the system, Vulek shouted. Too late, sir. It's already inside. Suddenly the lights flickered. Gravity shifted. One by one, the crew began to whisper the same line. We remember. Vulek stepped back. No, not here too. On the screen, the USS Valor appeared miles away, but close enough to feel its surface had changed again. Now it looked like a massive, watching it. Wasn't chasing, it was waiting. The voice came back soft, cold, familiar. You ran from memory. But memory travels faster than light. You mocked us, laughed when we cried, cut us open, called it science. But we remembered. The screen went red, then showed something. Worse. Glariac officers laughing as they tested weapons on human children. Experiments, torture, fire, real videos, real files. Long buried, now reborn. This isn't who we are, Vulek said. This was long ago, the voice answered. You built your world on their bones, and now their bones rise. One of the officers on the bridge screamed, I can see them. They're all around us. Others followed. They ripped off helmets, scratched their own skin, cried out names they never knew. Vulek grabbed his sidearm. Pull yourself together, he shouted, but they were too far gone. The echo mind had entered their thoughts. One by one, no force, no fire, just remembrance. Vulek locked the bridge doors. Alone now, he stared at the final screen. Only one message remained. You were never afraid of humans. You were afraid of what they would become. Outside, the USS Valor began to multiply. 1 became 2. 2 became 4. Then 8, 16. All identical. All alive. All glowing. Vulek watched, helpless. They cloned the ship. The AI, now barely functional, answered weakly. Not ships. Ideas. Copies of thought. They're not flying metal. They're flying minds. Iron Maw's engines failed. Life support dropped. Only Vulek remained, shaking, sweating, whispering. I didn't mock them. I wasn't there. I didn't hurt anyone. But the echo mind already knew. It didn't matter if Vulek had laughed or stayed silent. He had watched. He had done nothing. One last time the voice spoke. We were once soft. You hardened us. The red light filled the screen and then silence. No. Explosion. No wreckage. Just nothing. Iron Maw vanished. So did Hammer Eye. And Coldwing. Every last ship that mocked, touched, or watched. Erased from the stars, not destroyed by weapons, deleted by memory later. Far across the galaxy, a traveler passed through the sector. She saw a strange red glow where the Glariac Empire once ruled. She asked her AI what was here. The AI answered, unknown. No data, no records, no name. Only one file remained. It played a message. A man with black eyes appeared on her screen. He said one word. Silence. The stars were quiet again. The Glariac Empire was gone. No war, no invasion. Final battle, just silence. The USS Valor, the ship that started it all, now drifted alone in deep space. Its surface pulsed slowly, like the beating of a heart. Red light moved through its dark hull. The shape was no longer human, no longer machine. It was something else. Inside the ship, the man with black eyes sat still. His hands rested on the metal arms of a strange chair, surrounded by floating symbols and glowing thoughts. He didn't speak. He didn't need to, because he was listening, across the stars. Whispers reached him, the voices of the last survivors, hidden in dark corners. Of the galaxy, they spoke of fear, of ghosts, of memory, of something that could not be scanned, touched, or understood. They called it many names now. The Eye, the voice of the forgotten, the thing they unleashed. But once, long ago, had a name, a human name. It had been taken from him, burned out during the first wars. He was the first to be chosen, not for strength, not for speed, but for pain. He had lost everything, and the humans gave him one mission: remember. He became the first echo mind, a living archive of suffering, rage, and memory. They placed him inside a ship, they sent him to sleep, and, for centuries, he waited, until one day, laughing alien crew found his vessel. They opened the door, and the silence ended. Now, far away, on a small farming world in a different system, a young alien girl named Liril walked with her grandfather. They passed a broken statue. Liril pointed at it. "Who was that?" Her grandfather frowned. "That was a Glariac. They ruled long ago, or so the old ones say." "What happened to them?" she asked. "No one knows," he said. "Their cities are gone, their language forgotten. No records remain. Did they go to war?" "No," the grandfather said. "They went too far." Liril tilted her head. "Too far where?" He looked up at the sky and whispered into a memory that didn't forget. She stayed quiet for a moment, then asked, "Is it still out there?" He nodded slowly. "The humans never answered our calls after that. They vanished too. But we still tell the stories." "Why?" she asked. "So we don't laugh at the wrong time," he replied. "In deep space, near the ruins of a forgotten system, a research ship from another alien race arrived. They scanned the area. No signs of war, no radiation, just cold metal remains. Ships with no crew, stations with no logs. They found a single device, black, smooth, still glowing. The scientists debated. "Let's open it," one said. "It might be dangerous," said another. A third scientist tapped the side. The device lit up. A red circle formed. A single message played. "You are now part of the story." Their ship went dark, far beyond, in the center of a quiet galaxy. The USS Valor continued to drift, but now it was not alone. Thousands of similar vessels surrounded it, echo minds, all awake, all listening, all remembering. Their minds were not human anymore. They had become something larger. They were the memory of pain shaped into thought. They had no home, no flag, no army, but they had one mission: to remind. Whenever a voice mocked the weak, whenever a scanner looked with pride into broken things, whenever someone thought silence meant safety, they would return, not with war, but with truth, and truth would break them. One whisper at a time, centuries later, on a peaceful planet, a small alien child looked up at the stars and asked his teacher, "Why don't we mock the old humans anymore?" The teacher closed her eyes and softly replied, "Because once," they answered,